Rev Mark for stepping up today. He had a real lot of notice. Yeah, he'll tell you. Please welcome Rev Mark.
Thank you, honey. This is what ministers do. When another minister is just practicing self-care, which is what we all teach, then another minister may have to step in. And I got the call and I said, of course, what's the subject? And she said, love wins. I went, no problem. So today, I just wanted to shout out to you, Bev. I know you're out there and I know you're watching, and I adore you, I love you, and I know the truth. They are so fortunate to have you. I am responsible for her getting here because her light was so bright, she was like a 747 landing on a runway strip when I first met her. And I've known a lot of ministers in my life. And some of them have really bright lights, but hers was just like, get my sunglasses out. You know? So we are very fortunate to have her. She is what I call a force of nature. Yeah. Now, you may not agree with her every time, and some of your belief systems may have to be alleviated sometimes, but the great part of it is we teach the truth, which is that we are love. So love always wins. Yes, we have trials. We always have trials. You know, if you haven't been in the dating scene, then you ought to know that that's just a big old trial. On and on and on and on and on. Until I recognize within myself that how was I going to attract love if I didn't love me? I only attracted those things that I had judgments on myself. And so I went through a few people, kept going. I'm like, because it seemed like that's where I had to look, is out here. It's got to be somebody out there. And that was based on a very strange thing. It was based on I wasn't complete. There was a hole in me that needed to be filled by something, by somebody else. In the Course in Miracles, that is a special relationship where one person takes something from another person, they both kind of, but nobody's in whole in that at all. Then if there's the other, which is the holy relationship, which is about accepting people where they are and looking at their likenesses rather than judging their differences. And I love what Maddie said. That was so great. We learn by stepping forward, being vulnerable, and finding out maybe this isn't somebody I want to hang out with, you know, because everybody's on their good behavior, right? We're all like, hi, I'm cute, I'm wonderful, look at me. They're doing the mating dance, right? And I just laugh because I see that all the time, and I think, who are you really? You know, who are you when, you know, you get up in the morning and you haven't brushed your teeth? So it's ultimately the greatest thing we can do by realizing that God is love. I think we can all agree on that. Now, we weren't taught that. The religions of the world teach separation by what I see. And, of course, I tell people, honestly, I see them as like car dealers. You want a little guilt, go to this religion. You want a lot of guilt, go to that religion. You want some rules that are absolutely like, you go like, this isn't even logical. Jesus didn't teach this. He taught forgiveness, and forgiveness is the key to happiness. And if you don't forgive, don't worry, God's perfect. If somebody's in front of you standing there being dysfunctional, in your mind, of course, they think they're perfect, and they are. But they're reminding you that you have something to look at. If you're activated, it's time to look at that. And God is so gracious that if you don't look at it in that person and you bless them, or you say, hell with you, the next thing you get is another person that does the same thing. You get the next opportunity to forgive. So life is this wonderful mirror that just keeps coming up to show us where we are. And all I can say is love always wins, because guess what? And in the end, love wins. Paul McCartney wrote that, and that was really true. It wins because we are love. We don't need to be looking for love. Do you know the difference between us and Jesus Christ? It was simple. He didn't see the illusion. He saw only heaven thoughts. All he thought was, everybody here is one connected intelligence, which he called the Father. And the sooner that you realize that you and the Father are one, the sooner the power returns to you to be loving. Judgment is not of the Father. The Father says yes to you. We teach this in Science of Mind. The Father always says yes. So if you say, I'm a miserable, terrible person, and I've sinned, and I've got to go to this place and do my rosary beads, God goes, okay, go for it. You go for it. Or if you say, I just really love myself, then that'll activate you, because the ego's like, what do you mean you love yourself? That's selfish. No, it isn't. Love is the very, very thing that you have to do. Oh, I have to do this, sorry. Thank you. I love the tech team. So I want to just tell you something here that you need to know. These are long guns, and if you don't know what they are like a grape. Lorene and I were trying to think, what is that? How does it taste? Anyway, it's kind of like a grape. That I brought them there from my friends in Kapoho. I want you to try some of those. And I want to explain who Marky Mark is, because that's something people go, they call me Marky Mark, but I don't think they know who's what. Marky is a clown who loves humor and laughs a lot. Mark is the minister. Mark's talking right now, but Marky's like, come on, tell him this. so the truth is also, Marky prepared a papaya salad his style. Now, it won't be your normal papaya salad. It's going to be different because it has purple sweet potatoes in it, bananas, and he decided that he didn't like the flavor of all the limes, so he put lilikoi juice in it. And if you are allergic to nuts, don't touch it, because it has pumpkin seeds, walnuts, cashews, all these things he kept doing. I'm like, enough. This is not, we don't need to do this. And so if you're allergic to nuts, please don't touch it, because I don't want to see you blow up. One of those things. I have a partner that blew up when he ate a lychee. I'd never seen a pufferfish like that in a person. It looked like he ate one and it just went, whoa. I was like, oh, that's a nice look. He's like, give me the Benadryl. So I popped one in and he all of a sudden shrunk again. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So today I wanted to let you know about what Ernest says about things, because I love Ernest Holmes. He is the best foundation you can find on the planet. I have jumped different churches. You name it, I've been there. The Baha'is, I've been everywhere, looking for the truth. And then I found the Science of Mind, and it was like, oh my God, there's people like this that actually know what I know and feel like that? This is cool. And so I was totally decided that there wasn't any religion that didn't teach guilt. What if guilt comes from you thinking you're bad? And what if you realized it's a thought of sin? Uh-oh, I see another minister. Oh my God, how wonderful. So, you just got me, I'm like clamped. Anyway, I love this minister. She used to come over here, and she is my East Indian, and she's a Hindu minister from Science of Mind. I would speak about the Course in Miracles and how it works in this, and she would speak about Hinduism, and I thought, this is great, we have all these. And then we had Kathy that was there, she's like, Science of Mind, yay! I loved all of it, because I feel like when I'm in a center, I like to hear different points of view. I really do. And the Hindu was just like, whoa, I like this. Because it's saying the same thing, just in a very ancient way. So I'm going to just get to Ernest Holmes. I was thrown there from the Rev Lib. This is what I was supposed to read. Let's see where it is. It's right here. The great hope, no, here it is. As wonderful as were the words and works of Jesus, the miracles of love and compassion which are performed, the climax of his whole mission was to prove that the spirit of man is indestructible, immortal, and eternal. Jesus, let's see, where I got lost my place. Jesus, the miracles of love and compassion which he performed, the climax of his whole mission was that to prove that man is indestructible, right? And then it says, Jesus plainly taught that the kingdom of God is at hand, here and now. Not in the future, not in the past. That the divine love protects us here and now. The divine guidance can lead us to here and now. And it's really important. God is in the moment. If you're in the past, you're in your ego. The ego always compares everything to the past, even if you're in the moment. It's like, okay, well, that looks like that, so it must be. And this is why we don't have the luxury of judging other people. We do not know what they've gone through. We have no clue. And they may have had a really tough time, and we're sitting there thinking, well, you're like this person I know in the past, so you're awful. Why? They are a child of God just like you. She's holding up. The other thing I wanted to just give you this is, also Ernest said this. When the Bible says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, it is referring to that spirit within us, which is our personal share of the universal spirit. The Christ mind does not refer merely to a personality who lived 2,000 years ago. It also refers to the innermost principle of your own being. It refers to the divine presence centered in us. We have been told to put off the old man and put on the new man, which is Christ. The new man is our innermost self. Pure spirit exists at the very center of our being, at the innermost part of our mind. It is our true and eternal self with a capital S. I call it the higher self. Such life as we have flows from it. There is nothing to our real being other than life and what it does through us. So ultimately, what I have to say is love always wins when you extend it. What if you just had a smile at someone? Just smiling's enough. That's extending love. You see somebody that you don't know. It's easy to smile at people you love, right? But somebody you don't know and you're having a hard day, if you could smile at them and said, it'll get better. That really helps them that day go, oh, thank you. I did that to a checker the other day that looked like at Safeway, and she looked like she was about ready to run out the door and quit. And I said, it'll get better. And she said, I hope so. She said, I've been here since 6 o'clock and I have to go to 3. And I was like, just keep breathing and being happy and joyful, and just know that everybody's going to treat you better. Just visualize that. She said, I'm willing. So love wins, and what we have to do is trust the process. We trust that love wins because we are love in every cell of our bodies. Think about the machine that God gave you. You eat something, it sends it to the liver, which sends it to the kidneys, which sends it to the pancreas, which sends it to this. How does it do that? People say, well, I don't think there's another higher intelligence. I'm like, just eat something that you don't like and see what happens. It'll tell you real quick that it's not supposed to be in your body, and you gotta let it go. So the body is the temple of God, but it's really the vehicle that you have to get through this earthly experience. We're in like a labyrinth. We're like down this path, and then it kind of turns that way. And I thought I was going to retire from West Hawaii. Well, they told me, you need to just really rewire. I thought, that's much better than retire. And I failed retirement because I love you guys as much as anybody. This is my ohana. I've been living on the mainland for a while, and it's nice, different. And I can relate to what's going on there, but I also feel like I'm always drawn back here. And I told you last week or the week before, whatever it was, that Spirit has opened an avenue for me to be here. And so I told my partner, and he went, well, let's do that. And I went, where's my partner? He doesn't say that normally. He's usually like, why? Where are we going? What's that all about? So the truth of it is that I let him out of his box. I had all these thoughts about who he was. The truth of it is, that wasn't him, that was me and my little box of limitations. Once I let him out, he was totally different. I thought, wow, this is great. So if you have boxes of conditions and limitations with people that you have around you, let yourself out of the box. Take the box off and see them all new in the moment. And if you do that, always love wins. And you win, and you all feel great. So for me, this is what we must do. How many of you have felt like, oh, I wish I could just have done this the right way? I mean, how many? I have for sure. And I was like, oh, I wish I could done that. I wish I could do that over, do over. No, you don't get a do-over. You get to do it that way. You get to forgive yourself and go, okay, that wasn't my best example of what I'm doing. And all you have to do is just say, I forgive myself. So forgiving yourself is the key to happiness. And you can be happy or right. I don't know if you've ever tried being right, but whew, that's a trip. The great part of it is what you have to realize, and I said this last week too, your partner and the people you're interplaying with did not grow up in your family. They don't know your values. So you're saying, this is how it is. And they're like, huh? That's what you do in partnership. The first few years, you're like, what do you mean by that? I used to do therapy, couples therapy. And all it was that they had different language and in context. And then when they finally understood what they liked, they went right back together again. They're like, oh, that's what you meant by that. So we must have compassion for everyone. They're doing the best that they can in the moment, and they may be activating you, and that's our opportunity. That's my opportunity to go, why am I upset by this person? Why? Now, maybe I need to just forgive that myself for judging them as something, and I'll forgive them too. They may go on doing their dysfunction. You're not in charge of them. You're only in charge of your own perception. They may go on and be dysfunctional all over the place with other people, but that's not your job to keep them, fix them. Your job is to take care of the inner part of you. That is your job. Love all of yourself. And if you love all of yourself, you will win. You will feel the presence of God everywhere that you go. Am I at time? I was watching you. Okay. So just know that love wins no matter what. And in the end, you'll realize that when you get your review. I saw that happen one time, and I went, whoa. All those people that I thought were weird were just me. And me, not them. They were just doing their little act for me. So just remember that whatever you do, ultimately in the end, love wins.